In this video we are going to explore multi-valued variables. So what is going on? Well, there are two ways to store variables with multiple values, the dictionary and the array. And you need to understand the difference. Dictionaries and arrays in Ansible are based on Python dictionaries and arrays. An array, which is also known as a list, is an ordered list of values, where each value can be addressed individually. It looks like list is, and then between square brackets and every single value between double quotes, you have the values. And if you use a command in Python, like print, on the variable list value 0, then you print array index 0, which will return the value 1. A dictionary, or a hash, is an unordered collection of values, which is stored as a key value pair. You would write it as dictionary equals 1 colon text 1, 2 colon text 2, 3 colon text 3. And you can use print dict to print the actual dictionary value. Notice that the dictionary itself, to make it even a little bit more confusing, can be presented in a list. We'll talk about it later. Before we continue, you should also notice that an array is the same as a list and a dictionary is the same as a hash. Now let's try to understand array and dictionaries. So multi-valued variables can be used in playbooks. And when using a multi-valued variable, it can be written as an array or a list or as a dictionary. And each of these has their own specific use cases. Dictionaries are the default to use in Ansible facts. And arrays are common for multi-valued variables. And the big benefit is that they easily support loops. You are going to learn about loops in the next lesson, which is about using conditionals. But already I need to tell you that loops are not supported on dictionaries directly, only by using the dict to items filter. We'll talk about filters later in lesson 10. Now let's focus on dictionary. Dictionaries can be written in two ways. So you can write them in the YAML notation, which should be the preferred way, because the indentation is nicely indicating what you are doing. So we have users, two users, Linda and Lisa, and every user has their own property. And you can also write it this way. And if you use a dictionary, there are two notations. There is a notation that we have already seen in a multi-valued variable, which is variable name, and between square brackets you use the specific value that you want to address. As in users Linda shell, which will print the shell for user Linda. You can also use the dotted format, which we have talked about before. This is basically what we have already seen when we were talking about facts. So dictionaries are used in facts. Arrays are used in conditionals. And again, notice that dictionaries can be a part of a list, which is used in Ansible facts. Now let's talk about arrays. An array provides a list of items where each item can be addressed separately. You can easily recognize the array because in an array every item starts with a hyphen. So we have username Linda, username Lisa, and the array has different properties for these users. The nice thing about an array is that individual items in the array can be addressed by using varname square bracket 0, for instance, where 0 is the array offset and prints the first value in the array. And you can use arrays for looping. And looping, as said before, is not what you should do on dictionaries. And to access all of the variables in an array, you can use with items or loop. This also is something that we are going to discover in the next lesson about conditionals. Now, how do we recognize lists and dictionaries? If you're an experienced Python programmer, that might be easy. If you're not, it's not that obvious. Now, the thing is, in output like facts, a list is always written between square brackets. And dictionaries are written between curly brackets. And if the output is just showing double quotes, then it's a string. A nice way to show that is by having a look at Ansible mounts in the facts, because in Ansible mounts you will actually see a list of dictionaries. Let's go check this out, and also let's have a look at a couple of examples. So first I would like to talk about recognizing this stuff. We've created the Ubuntu facts text file earlier. And I would like to show you in this facts text file what we can see. Well, it already starts here. Ansible all IP4 addresses, we can see the square brackets. So the square brackets, that means that this is an array that has one specific value only. Then we can see a dictionary like here in Ansible command line. So Ansible command line is a dictionary. And in this dictionary, we have these multiple key value pairs. And notice that Ansible Facts itself is a dictionary containing dictionaries which may contain arrays. Here we have examples of just strings. So if you just see the double quotes, then this is a string. Now, how about the Ansible mounts? Well, if you have a look at that, there you can see Ansible mounts starting with a square bracket, which means that the contents really is an array. And in the array, we have dictionaries. So it's an array of dictionaries. And yes, that is how you can mix the two of them together. Now, at this point, that might not make total sense, but by the time we've talked about conditionals, you will start to understand. Let's have a look at some quick examples, which are in the subdirectory arrays in the basics directory in the course Git repository. So we have variables, and I'm going to show you vars, users, dictionary. And there we go, we can see the dictionary. Now, how do you recognize this as a dictionary? You recognize it as a dictionary mainly because there are no hyphens. If you define an array, every item in the array starts with a hyphen. If you compare that to users list, the other example, there you can see the clear difference between the dictionary and the array. Now, how are we going to use them? Well, there is multilist.yaml. And in multilist.yaml, what do we see? We see that we are including the variable file. And in this variable file, we are addressing the items in the array by looping over users. Now, we haven't really seen loop yet. Loop is something that you can use on an array, and loop will work on every single item that is encountered on the array. So we have item.username and item.homedir and item.shell. Now, how does that work? If we get back to the users list, the item is the thing that you can see right here starting with a hyphen. So item.username is going for the first item, for the second item, for the third item. So every item is individually explored. And if you run it, Ansible playbook on multi-list, then this is what you get. So one line for every single item in the array. Now, how about the dictionary? What can we do with the dictionary? Well, dictionaries are honestly not as spectacular, but in a dictionary you can address the dictionary value specifically. So users.linda.username and users.linda.homedir is what you can use. But there is no way to easily loop over the values in a dictionary. So let's have a look, and there we can see the result. So two different ways of using multi-valued variables. And that is really something that you need to be aware of, so that you use the right approach when encountering the right variable type. Most important, the Ansible Facts by nature is a huge collection of dictionaries, and arrays, that is what you can use to loop over. We'll see more of this later throughout this course.